Our I can statements are N16. I can explain and apply the rules for multiplying rationals, and N17. I can interpret products in their real-world situations. So a reminder of the rules for multiplication and division. Okay, so a positive multiplied or divided by a positive is always positive. A negative multiplied or divided by a negative is always positive. Negative times or divided by a positive is negative. Positive times or divided by a negative is negative. Now, that was a lot of words, easy to get mixed up, but the thing I want you to note is that if we are multiplying by the same sign or dividing by the same sign, our result is positive. If we are multiplying or dividing with different signs, then we have a negative answer. Now, something that you may have noticed when we added or subtracted, a trick that I know that some of us used is, depending on the problem, we added or subtracted the whole number part first, and then added or subtracted the fraction part, and then combined those two results. And that can work a lot of the times as a shortcut. This does not work with multiplication or division. So don't try and use that trick with mixed numbers. You want to make sure that you start with our first step of converting to an improper fraction. So with that, let's get started. Remember, you can pause to write down the steps if you need to. Step 1 is to convert all mixed numbers into improper fractions. And for the sake of time, this has already been done for us in this particular problem. If you need a refresher on converting to improper fractions, refer back to one of the earlier videos on adding and subtracting fractions. The next step we're going to do is multiply straight across. So I am going to multiply 3 and 21, our top two numbers. 3 times 21, and you can type this into your calculator if you need that assistance. 3 times 21 is 63. And I'm going to include that negative because a negative times a positive is going to give me a negative answer, so my answer should be negative. And then I'm going to multiply across the bottom, so 14 times 12. 14 times 12 is 168. Then my third step is to find equivalent expressions or to simplify. So I'm going to look for common factors on the top and the bottom. Now, you can also use your calculator to help you to simplify fractions. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to type in 63, the ABC button, 168, and enter. And the calculator simplifies this for me as 3/8. And remember, I want my final answer to be negative. Now, at the multiplication step, there is a trick that you've probably learned called cross-canceling. Since we can simplify a fraction by dividing the top and bottom by the same number, we can cancel out a factor from anywhere in the top of multiplied fractions if we do so to the bottom. That should say bottom. Okay, and the reason we want to do this is this makes simplifying a whole lot easier at the end. So watch what we're going to do. So I'm going to start with 3 and 12 since they're across from each other, and they both have the common factor of 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. Next, 14 and 21 both have a common factor of 7, so I am going to do 14 divided by 7 is 2. 21 divided by 7 is 3. Now I can multiply straight across like I did before. So I'm going to take 1 times 3, that gives me 3. And 2 times 4, that gives me 8. So notice, this is my same final answer that we saw in the previous example, and it's already in simplest form. Try these two problems on your own. Remember, you don't have to cross-cancel, but you do need to make sure you have a simplified form at the end, and so cross-canceling can be a quick and easy way to make sure that we accomplish this. Start the video back up when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so I converted to an improper fraction. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So my first fraction changed to 9/4. My second fraction stayed the same, 4/5. I noticed that I can do some cross-canceling because these two have a common factor, 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so that becomes our new one. 9 and 5 don't have common factors though, so this is as far as I can go. I'm then going to multiply straight across. -9 times 1 gives me -9. 1 times 5 gives me 5, so I have -9/5. Now this is simplified, but I do need to make it a mixed number. So I'm going to take the improper fraction and make it a mixed number. So 9 divided by 5 goes 1 time with a remainder of 4/5, and this is negative because negative times positive is a negative. So -4/5 is my answer on this one. The answer for number 2 is -8/21. I did some cross-canceling, took out a factor of 3 from the top and bottom, and then I multiplied straight across. Positive times negative stays negative, so I get -8/21. Now I want you to try these next two problems completely in the calculator. So you can type it to the calculator using your ABC button. 4, ABC 4, ABC 5 times 2, ABC 3, ABC 5, and press the enter button. So this is what I have here in blue is what you should have seen in your screen. When you press enter, you should see 12 with that big U space thing, and then 12/25. So our final answer is 12 and 12/25. This is all that in the red here that you needed to write in your paper. Try number 4 on your own. The answer to number 4 is 16 and 3/16. Now we're going to try a story problem. Aaron ate 2 servings of one cereal. Each serving was 2/3 of a cup. Liz ate 3 servings of another cereal. Each serving was 1/3 of a cup. Who ate more cups of cereal? Show evidence. So the first thing we're going to look at is how much Aaron ate in total. So she ate 2 servings, and I'm going to multiply that by the serving size, which was 2/3 of a cup. And then I'm going to compare that to Liz, who ate 3 servings that were 1/3 of a cup. Now, I can write 2/1, and then I can multiply straight across. So I have 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3, so I have 4/3, or 1 and 1/3. For Liz, I'm going to put the 3/1, and then I can multiply straight across, but I could also even do some cross-canceling. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So when I multiply straight across, I am going to get 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 1 is 1, or 1 whole. So the answer to the question, who ate more cups of cereal, is Aaron. So Aaron ate more cups of cereal. All right, now we're going to multiply decimals. The first step is to line up by the last place value. So in this case, that means that I need this 2 and this 2 to line up. And I am just going to make it a little bit easier by using the commutative property to change the order. So I'm going to multiply the 2.02 on the top and the 1.2 on the bottom. You don't have to do this, but it'll make it a little bit faster. Okay, then I'm going to multiply by like normal. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 2 is 4. Then I move over to the next digit. which is a 1. And since I have to move over a place value, I'm going to put a 0 in. And then 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I'm going to add straight down. So I've got 4, 2, 4, and 2. Now this is the step that's kind of new for multiplying decimals. I want to count the number of place values behind the decimals in the original problem. So I've got 1 place value behind the decimal here, and I've got 2 behind the place decimal here. So I have a total of 3 place values. So I'm going to start here at the right, and I'm going to move my decimal over 1, 2, 3 places. So my final answer is 2.424. Try these two on your own. When you're ready to check your answers, you can start the video up again. Alright, so I have 3.05 multiplied by 1.2. I lined up the numbers by the last place value. Then I'm going to multiply like normal. 2 times 5 is 10, so I'm going to carry a 1. 2 times 0 is 0, but then I have that 1. 2 times 3 is 6. Then I put in a 0 as I move over to the next place value, which is 1. And as you might have already guessed, 1 times anything is itself, so I could just write 305 there. And then I'm going to total it up by adding straight down. So I have 0, 6, 6, and 3. Then I'm going to count the place values behind. I have 1 place value plus 2, 3. So I'm going to start here at the right and move 1, 2, 3 places. So I end up with 3.66. Now if you have that extra 0, that's totally fine. It's still equivalent, but the simplest form of writing your answer is 3.66. And I want to point out that it is positive because we have a negative times a negative, which is positive. Positive 3.66. Alright, I've gone ahead and done the multiplication for number 2. I lined up by the last place value. I multiplied like normal. I found the total. So the last thing I want to do is move the decimal over. So I've got 1, 2, 3 spaces after the decimal. So I move it 1, 2, 3. So I end up with 8.525. And lastly, I want to take a look at the sign of my answer. I have a negative times a positive, so that needs to be a negative answer. So negative 8.525. Try these two on the calculator. Remember that when you see those negative signs, you want to use the negative button in your calculator, not the subtract sign. Start the video up when you're ready to check your answers. All right, the answer for number 3 is 11.742. The answer for number 4 is 5.44, and both of them are positive answers. Let's take a look at one more story problem. Rick's car gets 29.7 miles per gallon on the highway. If his fuel tank holds 10.1 gallons, then how far can he travel on 1 full tank of gas? Show evidence. All right, so we know that he can travel 29.7 for every 1 gallon. And we also know that his fuel tank holds 10.1 gallons. So we can multiply those together to find out how many miles he can travel in total for those 10.1 gallons of gas. So I'm going to type that into my calculator. And I get 299.97 miles. Now, how did I know that miles was my unit? Well, it asks how far can he travel, and the units that we were given for distance were miles. Thanks for watching. Remember to watch this video as many times as you need to get the help you need. Thanks for watching.